Rookie quarterback Sam Howell is getting his first NFL start in Week 18, leading the Washington Commanders into FedEx Field against the Dallas Cowboys. His college offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, Coach Phil Longo, our guest here on this bonus episode of Locked On Commanders.
Your daily podcast on the Washington Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, Commanders fans? Welcome to the Locked On Commanders podcast. This bonus episode, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day, your daily podcast covering the Washington Commanders, free and available on all platforms, including YouTube and the WUSA 9 Plus app. And we thank you for making us your first listener, your first view every single day. I'm David Harrison of Commander Country, part of Sports Illustrated's FanNation, and of course, one of the hosts here on the Locked On Commanders podcast. No Chris Russell today, but I am joined by Wisconsin offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Phil Longo to talk about his pupil back at North Carolina when they were both there together as recently as 2021, quarterback Sam Howell. All right, guys, and joining me now to talk about this big news surrounding the Washington Commanders and rookie quarterback Sam Howell, his first career start, his former offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, when they were together in North Carolina, now Wisconsin Badgers football offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Coach, congratulations. By the way, on that move, spent some time together in North Carolina. Obviously, a lot of success going on there. Coach, when you heard Sam Howell was getting his first career NFL start, what were you thinking? What were the impressions around that?
Well, obviously, from a personal standpoint, I'm really excited for Sam as a person. But I always felt like he's prepared for this. And I think it's a matter of when, not if, for Sam with regards to him having success at this level, and whether or not he does well against the 12-4 Dallas Cowboys this week or not. I think this game will bode well as just a foundation for him to get things started.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to ask, have you talked to Sam? I know you're incredibly busy doing some good things for the Badgers out there, but have you gotten to talk to Sam yet?
Sam and I keep in touch all the time. I have not talked to him since he has been announced as the starter for the Dallas game. I'm sure that he and I will connect here once or twice before they take the field.
Awesome. Yeah, I know he said at the press conference today that he hasn't even had time to figure out if any friends, family, or anybody's coming to see the game. But he's got a lot to do. And like you said, he's got to prepare for the 12-4 Cowboys. Oh, by the way, while he does all that stuff too. Coach, last time we spoke, it was following the NFL draft. We talked about the surprise that Sam was even available when he was for the Commanders to select him. Obviously, they're very happy. We talked to the quarterback coach there in Washington just last week, Coach Sam Pease, and he said that he was loving what Sam was doing. You compared Sam Howell to Drew Brees, that he was more like Drew Brees than anybody you've ever studied in the NFL. If Commanders fans get 10 plus years of Drew Brees, they'll certainly be happy to get that. What do you think? We already mentioned, right, 12-4 Dallas Cowboys, first NFL start. Obviously, they've got a lot that they're playing for this weekend. What is a realistic expectation for Sam this weekend?
You know, it's hard for me because I'm caught up in what I'm doing here with Wisconsin. It's been quite a whirlwind moving from Chapel Hill to Madison, but so I haven't really had an opportunity to study Dallas's defense. And you know, as much as I've watched Washington a little bit more than I have in the past because Sam's there, I'll be a lot more attentive this weekend, obviously, because he'll be playing. But I think overall, for Sam, he's going to want to get the ball out of his hands quickly, and I think he needs to be as decisive as he possibly can be to help distribute the ball to some of the other players in the offense. And it'll be interesting to watch him. I know this; he's always been elite mentally, and I think if nothing else, he'll do a good job making good decisions on game day.
Absolutely. I remember his mental capacity was something that you highlighted as well when we talked after the draft. So a coaching question that, you know, a lot of fans are going to be interested in hearing, because there's been a lot of conversations, Coach, about fans of the Commanders wanting to see Sam Howell start. I mean, as recently as early December, to be quite honest. I mean, some thought that he was the best quarterback coming out of training camp just from being able to see his arm, which is a very good arm, as you well know. How much can a quarterback really develop behind the scenes? Obviously, he hasn't seen live NFL action since the preseason, but a lot of people think that he's the best option for this team moving forward. So from training camp, preseason, with this big of a gap, those mental reps are certainly valuable, but how much can you really get out of a quarterback without getting those live reps in?
Well, I think getting mental reps, if a quarterback is disciplined enough to actually do that, you can be involved as a third or a fourth team guy, where you're not getting reps, and really not be as focused or as entrenched in what's going on from a mental standpoint and a decision making standpoint, and all you're doing is curbing your own development. I don't see that being the issue with Sam. I think Sam at North Carolina, and I'm sure at Washington, I know he took advantage of every rep that he wasn't on the field, where maybe the twos were out there. He was still there making good decisions, dropping and going through everything that he needed to go through, even while he wasn't out there with the starting team. With how competitive he is and how bright he is, I can't see him not making the most of those opportunities. I don't know what kind of play reps and throw reps he got during the regular season. I think it's very hard to make that final transition to the speed of the game without getting live reps. And I'm not sure where he stands with that. I do think he'll make good decisions. I do think he's accurate. And I'm sure that Coach Zampese and that staff are doing everything they can to try to help Sam be successful this weekend.
More to come with Wisconsin offensive coordinator quarterbacks coach Phil Longo, who coached quarterback Sam Howell, getting his first NFL start this weekend for the Washington Commanders back at North Carolina when they were there together. This bonus episode brought to you by BetOnline, your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. The latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball, soccer to esports. They've got it all at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. The fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more at BetOnline, where the game starts. This bonus episode is also brought to you by Built Bar, who can help you handle your New Year's resolution to eat healthier, maybe shed a few pounds in a delicious and healthy way. Covered in 100% real chocolate. You're not going to think it's healthy when you taste it, but trust me, it actually is. Just 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. And what's best is you can still go to built.com and get your order of Built Bars. Or if you have a Walmart near you, if you have a Sam's Club near you, you can just drive down the road, head to the store, head to Walmart, go to the pharmacy section and get yourself a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. Or if you're close to a Sam's Club, you can go in and get you a 13-bar box with hit flavors like brownie batter and churro. You can thank us later when you dive into that box of Built Bars. First conversation I actually ever had with Sam in the locker room was about you coming on the show and all the great things you said about him. Made him smile. We've talked here and there since then. A little bit harder, right, to get into his locker space and talk to him right now with everything going on. But looking forward to seeing Sam. But he's not the only quarterback that you've got on your tree. Especially you've got one that unfortunately, for I'm sure for personal reasons, you had to leave back in North Carolina. And of course, Coach, we're talking about Drake Maye. Sam has spoken fondly about Drake. Every time we talk about North Carolina football, the college football scene, he's talking fondly about Drake. What can you tell us about him that all of us draft experts out here, because we're going to nail down the 2024 class if he decides to come out, then what can you tell us about Drake that maybe we don't already know?
Well, I've been fortunate to have some really elite kids in terms of, quarterbacks make the coach. It doesn't work the other way around. And Drake has some similar attributes, even though he's very different than Sam. He's smart. He's an intelligent kid. He makes good, consistent decisions. He's accurate in his own right. I think Sam is physically a stronger player and was more of a downhill north-south runner when he carries the football. Drake is a taller, rangier kid that probably moves well. His specialty is moving laterally well and extending plays. And that's probably the biggest difference is the body type and how they run with the football. The two things that are most similar are their decision making and their accuracy. And it's great things come in all shapes and sizes. And I've just been blessed to have two really good ones at North Carolina. And I'm very, very excited to see Sam against Dallas or anybody at this point. I just want to see him play.
Yeah, I think everybody's on board with that, Coach. And I'm glad you said quarterbacks make the coach. Ron Rivera here in Washington has had kind of a rough go of it these 3 years, and he's really been in search of his quarterback number one all 3 years, and now going into his next offseason already talking about having to find that QB1, and maybe Sam can show enough that they'll have the confidence he can be that moving forward, or at least get the shot next training camp, right, to prove that he can be the guy. In your mind, I mean, quarterback makes the coach, so I think it speaks for itself, but let's kind of elaborate on that. How important is it as a coach to have that QB1 really solidified?
Well, I think when you look at the Final Four in the college playoffs, those four teams typically have great quarterbacks. When you look at the Final Four teams in the AFC and the NFC championship games, there's typically four great quarterbacks. And every now and then, you have an underdog story, but for the most part, teams are quarterback driven. It's a pass game in the NFL. It's a pass game first. And obviously that comes from stems from the quarterback. And I think, you've got to have a great one if you want to win a championship. There are other things that come with it, right? Great defense and all that other stuff. But every great team, every championship team has a great QB. And so hopefully Sam is going to be that for somebody. And right now he's with Washington, and I'm really, really looking forward to him doing and playing well on Sunday.
Absolutely. I mean, the Nick Foles of the world are few and far between. Usually it's a Tom Brady or a Joe Burrow or a Matt Stafford even getting the right team around him. Coach, Commanders play at 4:25 Eastern on Sunday, FedEx Field. I know you're super busy. Are you going to be able to clear time in your schedule to give that a watch live, or are you going to have to DVR it and watch it later on?
Our recruiting weekend will be over. There'll be other work to do, but I can promise you I'll be watching Sam play on Sunday.
Very nice. Coach Phil Longo, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach for the Wisconsin Badgers. Coach, I got to tell you right before I let you go, I've been a fan of Luke Fickell since he's been at Ohio State. Obviously, with Ohio State ties, I'm a Trustful fan as well. Fan of yours since I've gotten to get to know you a little bit. And, of course, your protege there, Sam Howell. So I think I'm becoming a Badgers fan. My Ohio State friends and family are not going to like to hear me say that, but I think I'm becoming a Badgers fan. Always appreciate you sharing your time with us. Talk about Sam Howell, his first career NFL start. Good luck to you as well, Coach.
I appreciate it. You have a great weekend.
All right, guys. He was Coach Phil Longo of the Wisconsin Badgers, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach of Sam Howell's back in their days with the North Carolina Tar Heels. Has a lot of good things to say. Look, but honest, right? A little bit of trepidation there. This is a 12-4 Dallas Cowboys team. So Coach Longo kind of acknowledging all of those things as well. But I know Coach Longo is super excited to see Sam Howell get his first start. Chris and I are also excited to see him get his first start. We also have a little bit of concern as well. We're going to dive into everything we're confident and everything we're concerned about in our next final full episode of the week before the final regular season game of the year for the Washington Commanders. That will be dropping on Friday. So make sure you come back, check that out. Also, our last episode, Crossover Thursday with Marcus Mosher, Locked On Cowboys. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you go check that out. So we got a crossover Locked On Cowboys. We got a final game preview. And right here, we've got a deep dive with someone who knows Sam Howell better than, well, most of us out here do. Anyway, we got you covered on all the bases here on Locked On Commanders. And we thank you for making us first listen or view of the day. If you're out and about, please be safe and be kind to one another. And thank you as always for joining me right here on Locked On Commanders.